and we start to really focus on getting our kids off the internet. It is dangerous. It is scary. Testing all the things. Hopefully this looks good, because I don't want to move it again. So I've been seeing a lot of comments from people saying that they have no idea what to do instead of scrolling on social media. I even did a poll on the community tab about what you guys would like to see next, and overwhelmingly, people chose a video about what I do instead of scrolling social media. So we're going to talk about that today, and hopefully some of these things you guys can implement and take with you. Okay, I'm going to get started with what I have wrote down. I wrote bullet points. These are in no particular order. These are just what I wrote down. So I'm going to share them with you the exact same way that I came up with them in this order. The first one is I enjoy playing a lot of video games.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Now, video games can perpetuate the problem, don't get me wrong. It depends on where you're going or how you're treating them. For me, I picked 2 games that I feel that I'm pretty productive with. The first one would be Animal Crossing. I love Animal Crossing because of the community and the people you can meet, and I also play with my sister. So that's a way for me to kind of socialize instead of just hiding away in my room and doing nothing and scrolling. But the second one is Just Dance. I love Just Dance. I love it. It is my favorite game of all time. I guarantee you I can beat anybody out there. That's a lie. But I did find out they have an Olympics thing for Just Dance, and one day, maybe, I might do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But no, Just Dance is just like, it kind of gets you moving, and if you're ever in kind of a slump, I found it really interesting that if I'm feeling very lazy, if I turn the game on and play a couple rounds, I have a lot more energy, and I'll actually get up and do the tasks that I was supposed to be doing before I did that. So it's kind of like a little motivating thing for me, but video games are totally a great way to get yourself off of scrolling. I talk way too fast. I'm gonna have to edit this so much because I'm talking way too fast. Anyway, I am 22 years old and I'm married and I do not work. I have the luxury of getting to stay home while me and my husband travel the country together for his job. So for me, homemaking is a big thing. I love to sew and crochet. I spent a lot of time making things for our 5th wheel that we just recently moved into, including these curtains. Wow! I love them. I think they're so pretty. That for me is a good way to kind of pass the time in a more creative way. Not only that, when it comes down to crafting, I love to make Christmas gifts and birthday gifts. So I've already started Christmas. I know some people may not look at this the same way, but I feel like sustainability is a pretty big thing, and also access to affordable things is important. So I tend to thrift or hand make my gifts. I know some people are worried about thrifting, but I feel like there's a lot of things you can find. As long as it's meaningful, then I see nothing wrong with it. I actually already picked up my grandma's Christmas gift, and it's pretty cool. But there are tons of things you can do that are kind of crafty, and they kind of get your mind working a little differently. It's hard to get back into that creative mindset when you're going through intense brain fog. Honestly, if you have to, I'm not a big fan of people copying or tracing art for profit, so don't do it for profit. But if you were stuck in a slump, get on Pinterest and find like doodles. My journal is full of doodles that I found on Pinterest, and I didn't trace them, but I would just copy them into my journal because I thought they were pretty, and I was lacking that creative process to get things on a page. I was just kind of stuck, and I wanted my journal to be pretty. But that also kind of leads me into the next thing, where I feel like we're not bored enough. And I got this idea from either a comment on my YouTube channel or a DM or a comment on some kind of social media. I can't remember to save my life, but it gave me this really awesome idea. And it was that humans are supposed to be bored. We're not supposed to be stuck in this cycle. And if anything at all, if you're trying to get away from technology or scrolling, I would say if you can, find 30 minutes a day to be bored out of your mind. Dead silence, no music, no reading, no scrolling, nothing. Just sitting. Just sit there with no external stimulation. Just exist. The only thing I would say have access to is a pen and a piece of paper to just kind of write down your thoughts. But what I thought would be kind of interesting is if we made this into a community thing where if you ever did your 30 minutes of boredom, down below in the comment section, you could list out some of the things that you thought of in that time. Maybe you'd come up with some ideas for others to get away from social media or spend less time using technology. Or you came up with an idea that you'd like to share with the world, and maybe you make your own YouTube content from it. Who knows? But I feel like if we all kind of started this process together of 30 minutes of boredom a day, I feel like that'd be really interesting to see what people come up with in the comment section, especially after not letting yourself be creative or letting your mind wander ever. I actually don't think that I've been in that position for a very long time. So I'm going to start that, and maybe we can all do it together. Some other things you can do is you can bribe yourself to take care of responsibilities, with social media being the reward. Now, I will say, I've heard a lot of people say that social media is not a good way to relax and kind of wind down, and it's not. But if it's what gets you to a point where you can kind of get away from it by bribing yourself with 10-20 minutes of social media free time, then do it. If you have a month's worth of laundry just sitting in a basket, go take care of that, and when you're done with it, you get 30 minutes of social media. Treat it as a reward system, because social media isn't inherently bad. It's just how we've become accustomed to using it. So yeah, you can use it as a reward. It's just like sweets. When you were a kid, your mom would always tell you if you were good in the grocery store, you could get a piece of candy when you checked out, or if you had a good week at school or your report card was great, you could get a reward. It's things like that. You reward yourself, and good behaviors come out of that. Does anybody remember in God, I was 13 at the time, so it would have had to have been between 2012 and 2016 when Kick was a thing. That is what really worries me, because back then we had a problem with unrestricted internet access for kids, and I'm telling you, some people should be in jail for the way that they've talked to me and the conversations that I had. I was fully convinced at 14 that a guy in his 20s was in love with me, and the things that man told me, that makes me really stressed out about where we could possibly be now, because it surely didn't get any better. More children have access to the internet than ever before, so maybe I'm just not in touch with the younger crowd and what they do, but I don't know if there's any platforms like that, like Kick. But I really hope that the wave of people trying to get away from social media will impact the younger generations, or the parents of the younger generations, and we start to really focus on getting our kids off the internet. It is dangerous. It is scary. I remember hearing cases about children in the early 2000s when computers weren't even a big thing, and kids went missing and parents had no idea where they went, and computer forensics were not to the level they are now, and it's just so scary to see that it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And it's not just social media. It's not just the endless scrolling that we should be worried about. It's even some long-form content, or just the culture that social media brings. It doesn't teach you to be your own person. It teaches you to follow a crowd. It doesn't matter what side, politically or fashionably or anything. It's a huge cesspool of people just wanting to force others to believe the exact same thing they believe, or dress the same way, and everybody hates each other. There's so much hate in it. I don't know anybody that, or I guess I would phrase it rather, I don't remember when I was growing up the hate being to the level that it is today. It's like we're tearing each other apart. Yes, let's disagree. Yes, let's have debates. But the amount of anger that's just built up in the average person is just crazy. And I've been one of those people. I have been in that position of just anger and so mad at what other people are telling me, or people mad at me because of the things that I've said. And it's just why are we letting comments on the internet affect our daily lives? And it's awful, and I wish we could get away from it, and it stresses me out so much because it feels like it's just growing and growing and growing and growing. It's scary. It's scary the kind of hate we're breeding from all age groups. It's really, really depressing, and I can't let it consume my life anymore. Man, good press is all press, but that's besides the point. I don't remember what it was. It may have been Cocomelon that had some controversy a long time ago about how fast everything changes, and it kind of keeps this like cycle of dopamine hits. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I remember it being. But yeah, even kids' TV shows are adopting this style of getting the kids to hyperfixate on the TV show or technology, and I feel like I'm just really worried about where we're going to be in 10 years when the younger generations are growing up and they're starting high school or they're getting into the workforce. Are we going to have even more mental health problems at that point in time because no one's stepping up and taking responsibility for the fact that we should not have endless access to these things? Parents should step in and try to limit their children's access, and we should limit our own access. Okay, I hope it's not too super dark in here. I had to kind of shut the door because the rain, it's getting the floors wet, and so anyway. But no, I think that 30 minutes of boredom would be a good way for us to kind of build a little community between us where we interact in the comment section, and hey, even maybe we could find a way to make some kind of group chat. Potentially, I don't know anything about like Discord or Patreon or any of that stuff, and maybe I'm honestly still too early on in my YouTube to start promoting those things because I don't know much about them. If y'all would like to have a space that we all go to and have just this open discussion about how our 30 minutes of boredom went that day, maybe we can do that. You guys let me know how y'all would want to do that because I feel like that'd be really fun. But anyway, it is raining off and on, and I have more things I'd like to say, but I'm worried that you're not even going to be able to understand me, and it is getting quite late. I have no natural sunlight anymore, so I'm sorry if the quality of this video is a little lower than normal. I woke up pretty late today. That's normal for us. My husband works night shift, so it's kind of back and forth with our sleep schedule. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please let me know down in the comments below if you'd like for me to start some kind of Discord or Patreon or something along that sort of a place for us to kind of come together to have a discussion about our 30 minutes of boredom, if that's something anybody would even be interested in. If you are, I can do some research on that and getting that started. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Thank you to everyone that has built my channel up over the last few weeks. I am so grateful for you guys, and if you'd like to hear anything specific from me, please let me know, and I will see you guys next week.